Okay, so now, was it in the class that we talked about the caramel crunch?
I think we managed to talk you into making this recipe, so I'm very excited.
In the book that we have, there's a recipe that was one of my original recipes, because when I went to the supermarket, as Kelly and I were talking about, originally I found a can of Nestle's La Lechera. It's dulce de leche, and it's like caramel almost. So I bought a couple of cans and I experimented making a recipe, and it turned out pretty good. So we'll make that now. It's I call it caramel crunch. And my card here, you should all buy these index cards and a $19 laminator on Amazon, and have all your formulas there in a card box. They're simple. Simple. Keep it simple. Keep this business simple. It's a simple business. I'm a simple guy. Okay, so what we're going to do, close the gate, put something under it. Can you still hear me? Can you still hear me back there?
Yes, we can.
Okay, because I just dropped this unit on the floor. How much was this unit when it was new?
38,000.
Okay, well, I'm in the hole then. But you can still hear me, right?
I can hear you.
Okay, then I'm going to proceed. What were we doing?
Caramel crunch.
Caramel crunch.
Caramel crunch. We're going to add the mix to the machine. However, the recipe calls for some sugar. So what we'll do is first we'll add the mix to the machine. Not turned on yet. And we're adding 5 quarts because, oh, hello, because my machine would be, my recipe is 10 quarts, but this is a 12-quart machine. You know where we're going with this, right? Okay. All right, so that's the mix. Now we have the sugar. So where's the best mixer in the room? Why, it's right there. So let's turn it on. 234 RPMs, and we'll add the sugar. The dulce de leche, this is the part that I wasn't prepared for today. If we were in my kitchen at the store, what would we do? We would take these little cans. It only comes in these little cans. They're 13.4 ounces, and you have to buy them in these little cans. If it came in one of those things, that would be great, just one shot. But you have to buy it in these. So in my recipe, it calls for 10 of these little cans, these little 13-ounce cans. But this will use 5. You know where. Now, if we were back at the store, I would do this in a bowl. I would have done this before, and we would have a nice bowl, and I would just shoot it right in. But you're working under such a handicap here in this store, in this place. Got a dog running around. I mean, come on. So we'll put these individually in the machine. It'll be probably messy. It won't be as easy. This is where the drill comes in. Piece of cake, right? Put it in a bowl with some mix, put the drill on, zip, pour it in. Easy. So it's going to look harder now. Go away. This is not going to be fun. See, now it's not it's not going down. We have to smush it down. This is going to be a big pain. But it is what it is. Normally, if you were doing this, you would have a thinner spatula, and you would whoop one shot into a bowl. You would put all these 5 in a bowl, add a little mix, take this $3 invention that we have, and zip it up and pour it in. Be easy, not easy. Ugh. Well, not too bad. That's one. At least we only have 5. So what do you want to do while I'm doing this? What? No. No. As soon as it goes in, it's dissolved. It's getting the stuff in there. Ah. Okay, we're 2/5 the way through. Not too bad.
You know, in our last segment when we were talking about your class,
Yes.
we forgot to say what it's called and where it's located.
A sign right there.
Yeah, it's called Ice Cream Boot Camp, and it's in Fruit Loops.
Ah.
What's the town called?
Fruitland Park.
Fruitland Park, Florida. Beautiful Fruitland Park, Florida. If you have any questions, you can reach Jeff at his very convoluted email address that you'll get wrong unless
Boy,
you know how to
you're
spell
really
it.
helping me, aren't you?
It's xhippie@aol.com, but he's from the 60s, so he doesn't know how to spell. Hippie, it's X and then HIPPEE at AOL. A much simpler way to remember would just do steve@emerythompson.com, and we'll get you over to Jeff. steve@emerythompson.com, and we'll get you the information for Jeff's class.
That's a left-handed promo, isn't it?
Yeah, with friends like me.
Right. So this is pretty good. We're 4/5 the way through. Whoa! Somebody new came to the class.
Yes.
Did she pay the full amount? Or?
She paid extra to sit up front. She was actually in the bleacher seats. You just didn't see back that far.
Okay.
Is Sammy going to bother you? If she does, I can take her
Anybody have a dog allergy?
out. If we do, you're thrown out. When we hire people here, whether they're for the office or the factory, because Sammy's all over the place, we have them sit in the front entrance for about 5 minutes. They think they're waiting for me. It's actually, we send Sammy out to them and see how they react. If they're all like this, they're never going to work here. Because we have Sammy everywhere. My brother-in-law brings in his golden retriever, so she's everywhere. And we did have, Ken had
And you're worried about nuts?
yeah, and you're worried about nuts. Yeah, the nuts are in the building. They're not in the ice cream.
There's long-haired beasts roaming the area where you're eating ice cream. All right, now the other thing I added, now you don't have to, but I thought we'd play with this. This is caramel ice cream, but caramel crunch. So the crunch, what would be a good crunch? Who said it? Heath Bar. Heath Bar. What a great addition to caramel ice cream. So I brought Heath Bar pieces. Once again, the Heath Bar factory used to throw these away.
Wow.
On the floor, just like the crumbs from the cookies and everything. They used to throw them away. Now they package them, sell them to idiots like me who pay more money to have them broken up.
It's not less money?
No, it's more.
Wow.
It's what a world, huh?
Yeah. Why don't you put them in a bag and run them over with your Corvette?
Storm. Obviously, I don't drive a Corvette.
It's not running anymore?
I don't have a Corvette.
You got rid of it?
I did.
Wow. For the Volkswagen.
I have a Beetle.
Yeah, a beautiful one.
Okay, so these are Heath bar pieces, and I see that my old recipe called for 3 pounds of Heath bar pieces, but we'll use half of that. So here we go. You know this has to be good. Look what we've put in the machine. We have a mix, semi-sweet and thick and creamy. We have 5 cans of this gooey caramel, and we have 1.5 pounds of Heath bar pieces. Died and went to heaven. This is unbelievable. And it's going to make ice cream out of it. This is unbelievable. So, that's it. Everything's in there.
Then you want?
No. What we buy crushed up?
No. When
The
you put it in the
machine?
machine, it kind of crunches it up more, doesn't it?
What it does the same thing with chocolate chips. If you want chocolate chip ice cream or coffee chip ice cream, you're going to throw the chips in there. They make little chips and they make big chips. If you use the little chips, they maintain their integrity. The chips stay as little chips, mini chips.
Yeah.
If you use the big chips, some of them get whacked. But that only creates little mini chips. It's all good. It all works. Because you don't want an ice cream that's too uniform. You want, don't forget, we make homemade ice cream. If you go to the supermarket and you buy, heaven forbid, Breyers, chocolate chip ice cream, yes, every chip is going to be every chip. But in our world, it's homemade ice cream. So a little bit of chip breakage is okay, in my opinion. That's all.
I'm saying you don't save something to throw on the top while it's coming out.
No, I'm not a throw on top kind of guy. Because why do you throw them on top?
This is a visual.
Visual. I'm not interested.
Okay.
I'm not interested in visual. I want a taste sensation. Cold, sweet, flavorful. That's what I want. Now, the people who use the foolish people who use those glass top 16.
I don't use them, don't look at me.
No, I know. We discovered our road.
Yeah.
The foolish people who use those 16 tub glass top opening dipping cabinets, who are totally insane, they want to decorate the tops of their tubs. Now, you've seen it, right? You walk into a store, oh, look how pretty. There's little things on top of that tub of ice cream. In the beginning. Then the kids go to work. And then the tub looks like nauseous because they don't clean up. They don't scrape the sides of the tub down. They don't clean the white area between the tubs. They're kids. What do they know? They have no work ethic. So it looks like junk. And it's a detriment to your ice cream. What's the one thing that'll hurt ice cream faster than anything else? Air. Air, the moisture in the air. So when you have a 12 tub dipping cabinet with, I might add, something called a sneeze guard, you open it up to dip the ice cream. So you open it up. Now all those tubs are getting air wafting across them, hurting them, destroying the integrity of that ice cream. And you're scooping this one, and a little bit fell. Don't worry about it. And you're scooping and scooping, and now you take it, put it on the counter, close that. Now what did you just seal into the ice cream? All that air and moisture. And while you're working here, it's destroying your ice cream. And then you go home at night and you silly cover them. Damage is done already from covering them. And the kids don't cover them anyway. They just, screw it. Whatever. Oh, vanilla, good point.
And I also think it's one of the reasons
I
that
poured it.
the reasons that gelato failed.
What? What? That's why. See, had we had, you know, if this were our store, we wouldn't have forgotten this, would we?
And the sugar?
Sugar's in there. We put the sugar in, right?
Yes.
There you go.
I think one of the reasons that gelato failed was because the Italians make a big effort talking about, you know, decorating the tub. The one reason they do that, mainly Cappigiani, is they're taking the most negative thing about their machine and trying to turn it into a positive. They don't have a big gate like this where everything comes out in 25 seconds. They have these bars in the way. I have smarter engineers. We designed a guard that you still can't get your fingers in there, but it does not block the discharge in the least. So they take that negative of the bars and they say, oh, and nice, it comes out so slowly out of the machine that you can decorate it as it's coming down. Well, as Jeff said, once your employees start scooping into it, it doesn't look so hot. So the advantage is lost. Also, when you're making ice cream, imagine, you know, I compare this to an oven, your oven at home. If you're broiling a steak, and that steak's medium rare in 10 minutes, you want to open up that door, get that steak out so it doesn't keep cooking. If it takes you a minute and a half to pull that steak out, I'm really slow. I'm just going to slowly take that steak out, like a Cappigiani machine where you're slowly getting the ice cream out. The first half of that steak is medium rare. The last half of it is charred because it's still in the oven. The oven's still hot. It's still in the batch freezer. It's still spinning around, changing the air content. So speed is important in making ice cream. And that's why we have always had these huge openings here. And also they can't they have a big opening up top, but it comes down to that. All the Italians use the same cover. I mean, no matter who the company is, they all look the same. Big funnel top and a little tiny opening like that. So if you want to use those, if you want to use whole cookies, you have to crush them to put them in. I just stand here and I just throw in whole cookies, whole bananas. You know, it makes a better product. It makes life easier. So
That's why it's so simple. Whatever
It
you
is so
can think
simple.
of as far as the ingredients and jars, throw it in the machine. Let the machine do all the work. And it makes ice cream. It freezes
uh-oh, there went your
it. It
tub of
freezes
water.
it faster than you can imagine. It's just, you'll know, sooner or later you'll know.
Yeah. One little trick I'll give you a second. One little trick, I buy a cheap spaghetti colander and I put it in my sink. Because if I just made Oreo cookie ice cream, you know, 98% of the cookies are going to the ice cream, maybe 2% or 1% are still in the machine. So if I've got some cookies in here, I don't want to throw them down the drain. It's going to clog the drain. I'll have the plumber coming once every 2 weeks. So you just pour your wastewater through a spaghetti colander and catch them, and they don't go down the drain. It's real simple, yes. Do we have time now?
What?
To talk about the infinite overrun control?
Well, I'm almost ready.
I'll wait till he's 2 minutes.
Oh, easy. Go ahead.
Okay. The infinite overrun is something I invented 16 years ago. And what it is it's a speed control. If you have your dining room and your lights are nice and bright like this and you want to have a nice romantic dinner, you dim those lights down and you're taking the 100-watt bulbs, you're dimming them down to a romantic 25 watts. You have taken the power away from the light bulbs. So if I took that dimmer and put it on the machine, my goal is to, if I'm making ice cream and I stir this with a whisk, if I put cream in here and stir with a whisk, as fast as I spin it with my hand, it's going to remain heavy cream. If I take an electric mixer and put it in here, boom, whipped cream. So I'm going just the opposite here. I have always made whipped cream machines, you know, high air content, what we call homemade ice cream. And then super premium comes along, gelato, frozen custard, frozen yogurt, all these products, we want less air in them. By spinning the drive slower, we put less air in. I call it the infinite overrun because you can have any number, any speed you want on this thing. So you take a light dimmer switch for the dining room and put it on the machine, and now that 3 horsepower motor is only an eighth of a horsepower because you've dimmed it down so much. With my invention, when I dim down the motor, I don't lose the torque or pulling power. My 3 horsepower motor at 100 RPMs is the same pull as it is at 234. And that's the invention. That's what changed the whole industry, and that's why we're the leader in the industry. That, and we build machines that last for decades, not 8 years. When we take you out onto the factory floor, you'll see the construction. Where I was talking with the gentleman in the front. We use all copper tubing, which, who cares? Well, it's 9 times more expensive than aluminum. And aluminum makes for a great bridge. You can build a beautiful bridge out of aluminum. But when you expose aluminum to Freon gas, it rots out in 8 years. Your Cappigiani, your Taylor's out of the batch freezer business. I ran them out. Electrofreeze, Stolting, Technogel, they're all using aluminum tubing, and they all will have a lifespan of 8 years. And if you don't believe me, just go look on eBay. You'll see 150 Italian machines for sale and not one Emery Thompson. Because we go 40 years, 50 years, 60 years, 35 years. Depends on how you take care of it. But we talk in decades, they talk in 8 years. So it's a lot of differences. But these doors, you'll see how they're made. They're absolutely beautiful. Solid castings of stainless steel.
Tell them, guys. Tell them when it's ready.
When it beeps.
When it holds a peak.
When it holds a peak, it doesn't just go down.
Or if you don't understand the peak, if you can open it and close it quickly and it cuts off like a knife went through it, it's ready. Jeff pulls a little softer than I do.
Watch when it comes out. You see the peak on top, the little mountain? Now it's dissolving into it, not ready yet. But when that peak stays as a mountaintop, it's ready.
So
Different
why
ice
not,
creams have different times to make it.
So why not a timer? Why not put a timer on
Because
the
different
machine?
ice creams have different times.
Every product you make has a different time. The higher the sugar content, the longer the freezing time. Ice cream, 8 minutes. Italian ice, 18 minutes on the bigger machines, 14 over here. If I had a timer that was going to go off 8 minutes all the time, I'd always have to come back and turn it back on because the product wouldn't be ready. It gives you the discretion of the timing. I put a invention on which Cappigiani stole. They called it the Hard-O-Matic. I just called it an amp meter.
They call it the what?
Hard-O-Matic.
Hard-O-Matic?
Yeah, I didn't make it up. They now call it the hard.
You know some guy invented that.
Yeah, well, they changed it after 20 years and called it the Hard-O-Tronic. Not much better. Anyway, it's an amp meter. You'll understand this. As you make the ice cream, it gets thicker. The amperage on the motors go up, and you can measure that on a meter. So I invented this thing where, okay, it gets to 9 amps, the vanilla's ready. It gets to 12 amps, the salted caramel's ready. And it was a great idea, but everybody said, why bother? All I had to do is just open it and close it like Jeff's doing, and I can tell if the ice cream's ready. I was overthinking the concept.
Oh, go ahead.
No, that's all right.
Speaking of salted caramel, big, started in California, moved across the country, salted caramel ice cream, very big. To take this ice cream and make it salted caramel ice cream, what do we add?
Butterscotch.
Hello, we add salt. We add kosher salt, coarse kosher salt to the ice cream, and then you have salted caramel. Simple business, simple people. It is.
It's true. Oh gosh, no. No. In fact, we build these for the United States Navy. We're on all the aircraft carriers. They cool themselves using salt water. We do everything.
I personally think you could put rocks in
Yeah,
there.
the condenser.
I
I had
think
to
you could
change
put pebbles
just the
in
water
there,
condenser
and nothing's gonna happen.
to something a
Well, I
little.
mean, you didn't change the coils from copper
No,
to salt water.
no, no. But the instruction book cost $17,000. We didn't write it, but That's your government working for you. A $5 instruction book costs $17,000. The last time we built for the military, it's that machine in the back there. That's a batch freezer with a hardening cabinet attached. They came into the factory. We were building 50 of them. And they sat down with us and said, well, we're concerned about this contract you're working on. Okay, what's the problem? We're delivering on time. No, we're afraid you're not going to make deliveries, that you're going to go bankrupt. Why would we go bankrupt? Well, you're just not charging enough for the machine. That's your government. And we said, don't worry about it. We're just trying to cover a little overhead. We gave you a bargain. You know, it was no bargain. It was usual pricing. But that's the way the government works. But a $17,000 instruction manual had instructions on it where to put C4 within the machine to blow it up. It takes about 2 pounds to blow this thing up, according to the government.
Try that.
Nutty. Oh, died and gone to heaven.
Isn't that something?
We're not going to give this to them. We got to keep it.
That is.
Oh, man. Well, it was nice seeing you. Yes. If you leave it on, yes, it will shut itself down, and now you have to open it up and take it all out. If you, on the old machines, what we found people were doing is they would lock it up because, quite frankly, you're supposed to be in here making ice cream. You're not supposed to be talking on the phone with your friends. You're not supposed to be, waiting on people at the front counter. You say, folks, I'll see you in 3 hours. I'm going to go make ice cream. That's your job. Just like in a restaurant, the chef's job. He doesn't go out and schmooze while he's cooking the Chateaubriand. So if you freeze it up, it'll shut itself down, no harm, no foul, no harm. In the old machines, without the infinite overrun control, if you tried to restart it, all of a sudden you got 3 horsepower motor trying to start against a heavy load with all the pulling power in the back, the torque, all coming from the back. And rather than have you destroy the transmission, we had you break a plastic coupling. And so then they'd have to change the coupling. A little bit of a pain in the neck. Nowadays, with the infinite overrun control, the advantage we have of electronics is your employee freezes it up, they call you up, and you tell them to open it up and take it all out, and instead of that, they just come back and push the button. It's cleared itself, and now it tries to start up. It immediately shuts itself down. It measures there's too much load, and it's smarter than you. So you can't hurt the machine. You cannot hurt it.
Eventually it will start back up and thaws enough.
If you look at some of my videos, I kind of stand here like this and talk to people waiting for it to thaw. Yes, I could get it to start up, but you can't, because I got a factory full of parts and I don't want you breaking something. But eventually it would. But that's not the right answer. The right answer is open the door, take it out, and then yell at the employee. Tell them next time you do it, we'll break your kneecaps. So, should we try it?
It's ready.
All right. Hey, we're not going to have time for but one more flavor.
That's
probably.
okay.
It's all right?
Yeah.
Now, what about this Strollen? It's in the freezer.
What did you call it?
Strollen?
Stolen.
Stolen. Strollen.
Stolen.
Stolen. How are we going to cut this up?
Oh, it's not going to be rock hard.
There's 2 books left. Somebody didn't want a book?
It won't be rock hard. Don't worry.
Wow.
Okay, you want to try this? I guarantee, how's this? I guarantee this will be the best ice cream you've ever tasted in your life. Whoa!
Better than the Baileys?
Whoa.
Oh, that was ISIS.
This will be the best ice cream you've ever tasted
yes.
in your life.
If they're not frozen solid.
That fast?
Yeah, that fast.
Don't ask for hot pot.
I'll have to see if I can do it afterwards because I have to make another flavor. It's going to be a little hard. Yes.
I've worked in Cummings diesel plant. I've worked in Caterpillar.
Uh-huh.
And I have never seen a machine built to that standard.
Well, thank you. Thank you so much. What a compliment. Wow. Now, what am I doing with this thing?
Well, what are you doing? Adding it to your,
But how?
what do you mean how?
I gotta-
Slice it.
Slice it?
We'll slice it and put it in the machine.
All right.
I'll take a small. Thanks. Thank you.
Come on, Lou, you're retired now, you know? Isn't it funny, the older we get, the longer we want to live?
It's true. Well, it's getting shorter. That's the only reason.
Well, of course.
Thank you.
Okay. I sat in the back of the room, that's all. I don't know, does it appear that we're good friends? Really? Excellent. I'm going to tell him that.
Hi. How are you?
Yeah, right, I
Good.
get it. For my wife. Oh, this is good stuff. You know what? I made a decision. It's now going to be right on the menu. Back on the menu. It's too good. And I have no doubt where this is going on the list. It's,
So is this considered ice cream?
is it considered an ice cream?
Yeah.
It is in fact an ice cream.
Lotto? Okay.
It's the real thing.
It's the real deal.
You are the real deal.
Thank you.
Small just means you'll be back later for more.
Thank you.
I'm very excited for this one. Thank you for making it. Not that I was gonna go.
No,
and
I'm
make
glad.
it.
I just told Fernando that this is going right back on the menu. I think it's that good.
No,
How is that,
leave
Kelly?
it too, so I don't want you guys to think if you're talking that I'm bored with you.
Where are you going?
I have to fly. I have to leave. I have to miss the flight. So don't think that I think you're boring or anything.
There you go.
I guess so. What's the name?
No problem.
And this has got Heath bar in it?
Yeah. Oh, it's nothing but good, Ken.
And what's your last flavor going to be?
Well, probably this because we ran out of time.
Open the Oreo.
I know. Well, we'll see who makes it, me or him.
Okay.
And Steve,
You can put the Oreos in there tomorrow with the stroll.
when the flavors meld a little bit more, this will be better tomorrow.
Oh, man. Oh, jeez. That's pretty good, isn't it? Whoa.